It's time to purchase health insurance at healthcare.gov. It is open enrollment. Open enrollment runs November 1st through December 15th. If you visit healthcare.gov, it is your opportunity to buy health insurance that will be effective January 1st, 2019. But what is healthcare.gov? Health reform, also known as the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, created a central place to purchase individual health insurance. It's called the Marketplace. Healthcare.gov is also called the Marketplace. And after mandating that everybody is required to purchase insurance or pay a penalty through the Affordable Care Act, the federal government established that central location to go buy that insurance that is mandated. Healthcare.gov is the website that most states use. We're in the state of Wisconsin. We use the federally facilitated marketplace, healthcare.gov. Some states have created their own state-based marketplace, and that is separate from a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're in a state that uses healthcare.gov, this is for you. Like I said, open enrollment runs for a very short time, only until December 15th. Enroll by December 15th for coverage that starts January 1st. You're going to know you're at the right website if you see the picture that we have posted here. There are a lot of sites that call themselves healthcare.com, healthcare.org, healthinsurance.com. Those are going to take you in the wrong direction. If you're looking for an individual plan that satisfies the rules of the Affordable Care Act and comprehensive coverage, affordability, covering pre-existing conditions, having tax credits available to you, this is the website you're going to use. There are two green buttons, as you can see right in the middle. One is for people coming for the first time and buying insurance for the first time. If you have health coverage in 2018, there is that second button for you that if you already have coverage and you just want to update your information and start shopping for new coverage in 2019. So you are at the right spot if you see healthcare.gov and you see a blue screen with two green buttons in the middle. Who can buy coverage on healthcare.gov? The answer is just about anybody. There are only two exceptions for who really shouldn't be going to healthcare.gov. If you have Medicare right now, you don't need to go to healthcare.gov to purchase insurance. If you are not lawfully present in the United States, you aren't eligible for healthcare.gov individual marketplace insurance. Everybody else has the option to buy insurance in the individual marketplace. Even if you already have coverage through work or if you have Medicaid or Badger Care Plus here in Wisconsin, the only difference is if you're going to be eligible for tax credits. So if you have access to insurance through work, you should probably sign up for that insurance if it is deemed affordable. And there's an affordability test to determine if you can have both and still get the value of tax credits. If you have Medicaid or Badger Care Plus right now, you should probably continue the Medicaid or Badger Care Plus. Otherwise, if you do get Marketplace plan, you do have the option to buy it, but you will not get tax subsidies. So the way the Marketplace works is to make sure that everybody has something. Everybody has some sort of qualifying health insurance. And qualifying does include Medicaid or Badger Care Plus. So if you have Medicaid, you don't have to go to healthcare.gov and buy anything. Some people might want multiple plans, and that's why they do make it available. So there is a distinction between are you eligible for Badger Care Plus in the Marketplace, or are you eligible for the Marketplace with tax subsidies? And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But there's no wrong door. Let's say you have no insurance now, and you're not sure, should you go apply for Medicaid? Should you go apply for the Marketplace? Which direction should you go? The rule of the Marketplace is you can use that as a one-stop shop to get started applying for coverage. You could start your application on healthcare.gov, and it could send your application to your state saying this looks like someone that should be processed for Medicaid eligibility instead of Marketplace eligibility. So there is that no wrong door feature that says this person probably should be assessed for a different program. It's not fail-proof, but it's at least to make sure that people don't get dropped when they are seeking to get coverage for the first time. Now, we made it very clear that open enrollment was open November 1st through December 15th for the private insurance marketplace. If you are someone that is uninsured and seeking Badger Care Plus or Medicaid, there's no open enrollment period for that. You could start your application on healthcare.gov, but you could apply at your county human services office, you could apply at access.wisconsin.gov, and you can do that at any time of the year. There's no open enrollment period for public benefits. Now let's keep going back to the healthcare.gov site. If you miss open enrollment, if you don't sign up for health coverage by December 15th, there is no other opportunity for you to buy coverage. This is your one shot. So this is why it's so important to take it seriously, to calendar it, to set reminders for yourself, to get materials together, and to devote time to making sure that you sign up for health coverage. Because if you don't do it now, you're locked out until the next open enrollment period. The only exceptions are for people that have life changes. If you have a change in family size, if someone has a baby, if someone has passed away, if you have a dramatic change in income, you will be reporting those and you may be eligible for a special enrollment period. But aside from a major life change, you will not have an opportunity again to buy coverage. If you have coverage in 2018, you can do nothing and you can be auto-renewed into a plan for 2019 that is either the same or similar to what you had in 2018. So that's one fail-safe if you have coverage now, to make sure that you're not unnecessarily dropped from coverage. We do have a separate video on whether or not you should just auto-renew. Our recommendation generally is to use that as a last resort, because it would not be unusual if that plan changed its price, if the plan changed its network, or if some of the coverage that was available before looks different now. You might also have changes yourself. You might have a change in family size or change in income that might change the tax credits you're getting, for example. You would need to make sure that your information was current so that you were getting the appropriate coverage and the appropriate tax subsidies if you are indeed eligible for them. So make sure that you shop before you just auto-renew, and also make sure that you report changes so you don't get stuck with a surprise come tax time when you have to reconcile your tax subsidies that you thought you were getting but you might not be. Now, if you apply for a marketplace plan in 2019, you will indeed be following the 2018 federal poverty levels. It's looking at essentially what your income was in the prior year to determine eligibility for the coverage year. They will use the modified adjusted gross income calculation to determine eligibility. And this looks a lot like the way that you report income on your taxes. So having last year's taxes as a guide when you're filling out the eligibility in 2018 for 2019 coverage will be helpful. Modified adjusted gross income is essentially that adjusted gross income number you report on your taxes, plus any tax-exempt Social Security that you might get, any interest. If you have any foreign income, there are a couple of questions that are going to determine if you need to modify that AGI number from your taxes in any way. You don't have to do all of this individual math ahead of time. You're going to be asked a series of interview questions to determine what your income is now and your opportunity to take advantage of tax credits. The series of questions that's going to be presented will walk you through that. But it is good to have that tax information handy because some of those questions will look parallel. Now, we said we would talk about tax credits and affordability and financial assistance. Some individuals enrolling in the marketplace will qualify for financial assistance, and there are a couple different kinds. But household information and income information are going to be important to get right to make sure that this calculation is right. So also important is if you have access to insurance right now. If you do, like we said right at the start, if you have access to insurance right now, that might impact your ability to get financial assistance in the marketplace. So make sure you have any information about coverage you get through work or your eligibility for Medicaid handy. Let's first talk about tax subsidies and then talk about cost-sharing reductions, the two types of financial assistance available in the marketplace. Advanced premium tax credits are essentially subsidies to reduce your premium. You are eligible if your household income is between 100 and 400% of the federal poverty level. That's determined at your time of application, and it is based on your anticipated income during the year. This will then get reconciled at tax time when you report your actual income on your tax return. So if you fall between 100 and 400% of the federal poverty level, you will be assigned tax credits, and healthcare.gov does this math for you. They'll say, based on the information you provided about household size and annual income, it looks like you're eligible for tax subsidies, and it's going to give you the dollar amount of what you're eligible for. Some people might, in addition, be eligible for cost-sharing reductions, and this is not premium assistance. This is a reduction in what you pay out of pocket. So deductibles, cost-sharing, co-insurance. This cost-sharing reduction is just for people between 100% and 250%, so not as broad of an eligibility category for people that have bought a silver tier plan in the marketplace. And again, as you're looking and shopping at plans, it's going to give you an estimate of what the cost-sharing reduction will be as you're looking at different plans. Now, some of you are probably saying, I thought that went away. There's been a lot of political talk about cost-sharing reductions being defunded. Well, you get the benefit of cost-sharing reductions. On the back end of things, there is a fight between the federal government and insurance companies about whether the insurance companies will be reimbursed for passing on cost-sharing reductions to consumers. But as a consumer, you get cost-sharing reductions. So this is still a way to bring down out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, anything that you're paying right out of pocket at the doctor's office. That can be reduced if you fit into this eligibility bracket. Okay, so you've thought about it. How do you apply? You hit healthcare.gov. That's your main way in. That's the easiest. It's the fastest. It's a way that you can create a username and password, create your own profile, come back to it later, start it, do some shopping, pick a plan, and get going on your way to having insurance. That's the easiest and most accessible way to apply for health coverage. But you don't have to use healthcare.gov if you don't want to. You can do an application over the phone, and we give you the 1-800 number that will get you right to the marketplace. You can also fill out a paper application and send it by U.S. mail, and we give you the address on the screen of where to do that and the link of where to download and print that PDF of the application. Now, some tips of sending things through the mail: make sure you keep a copy of everything you send. Also, do not send originals of anything. If you answer a couple questions and it requires verification of those questions, don't send things like original birth certificates or your only copy of a pay stub, for example. Make sure that you're sending copies if you send anything. Sending paper applications is not the primary way to apply for health coverage. It's not recommended, but it is an option. If you do the paper application, just keep extra notes on when you mailed it, what you mailed, what was the contents of that. There is an opportunity for error whenever you're sending things through the U.S. mail, for mail to get lost, to go to the wrong place. So make sure that you're being extra careful if this is the method that you choose. Finally, you can apply in person, and there is a link that we put up for finding local help. Now, we have made a big point of saying the marketplace is the central place to purchase private health insurance, called qualified health plans. You will know that these are comprehensive plans. They are tiered. There is a tier that look like the medals in the Olympics. There's gold, silver, bronze. There's also platinum, which is the best kind of insurance you can get, and the price might reflect that. You can still, however, purchase insurance outside the marketplace. And this is where we just want to make sure that people are very clear about what they're buying. A lot of insurance sold outside the marketplace might look like comprehensive health insurance, but it might not be. Here are a couple things to keep in mind when you're buying insurance. If you are buying insurance outside of the marketplace, let's say you just go right to an insurance broker or right to a health plan and you say, I want to buy your insurance plan. I don't want your ACA plan. I just want a plan that you make available. Most of those plans, in fact, if it's comprehensive coverage, it has to follow a lot of the guidelines of the Affordable Care Act. It has to be something that doesn't discriminate against people with pre-existing conditions. It has to cover essential health benefits. It can't have things like annual or lifetime caps on how much insurance you can use. The Affordable Care Act impacted plans sold at the marketplace, but it also impacted the majority of insurance plans out there. So there is the opportunity to buy insurance outside the marketplace that looks very much similar to the plans inside the marketplace. The biggest difference: it won't have tax subsidies or reduced cost sharing if you buy a plan outside the marketplace. Those are only features, those financial assistance features, those only exist inside the marketplace. So there could be very good insurance outside the marketplace. Make sure you're just very clear of asking, does this insurance come with cost sharing reductions or premium tax credits? That's an important question to have handy if you do think you're going to be purchasing a plan outside the marketplace. And some people might find a plan outside the marketplace that fits their network, or maybe you use a lot of specialty care and that you know is not covered by one of the plans sold in the marketplace for your region. So it's worth looking but making sure you're very clear. You might be paying more for that plan because it is outside the marketplace. You might also, for the first time, encounter plans that are being sold that do not comply with the Affordable Care Act that the Trump administration has now made available going into 2019. There are short-term health plans that are now being sold. They're not comprehensive insurance, but they could last for a duration of up to 1 year. They could also be renewed for an additional period of time. So you could have a health plan that you've got for the next couple years that you're renewing that is not comprehensive health insurance, but it looks like it. It does have a premium structure. There might be copays and deductibles, but it is not comprehensive health insurance. So make sure you ask questions, read the fine print, see if this is indeed comprehensive health insurance. There are also association health plans that are being offered for the first time, and those you would know about. They look more like group coverage as opposed to individual coverage. So the important message, if you don't have insurance by the end of open enrollment and you go into 2019 being uninsured, you still could be subject to a tax penalty for not having insurance. The amount varies depending on either 2.5% of your yearly household income above the filing threshold or $695 bucks per adult in the house. There's a reduced amount for kids in the house. You can calculate, we put the link here of how to determine what your tax penalty might be if you choose to go uninsured. Of course, there also is the risk of not being insured and having a healthcare incident, which could be very expensive. So there's still a penalty for being uninsured. And you're probably thinking, wait, I thought that went away. The GOP tax bill signed into law zeroed out the tax penalty for being uninsured, but not until coverage year 2019. So for people buying coverage for 2019 that has to be reconciled, this is your opportunity that you could still be paying a penalty in 2019 for not having coverage in 2018. So make sure that you are very aware of what your options and what your costs could be. This is the last year that the tax penalty is being assessed. There is the opportunity if you have a hardship, and that's what kept you from buying insurance. You can always select that on your taxes. I had a hardship, and I could not buy insurance, and I should also not be assessed the penalty. Again, you are going uninsured, and there is bigger risk in that as well. So there are appeal rights. If you are denied marketplace coverage or you are denied services through a health plan, those are two separate types of appeal rights that attach to you. Let's first talk about marketplace. If there is a decision made about your eligibility, about your cost savings, or the financial assistance that is offered, start dates of coverage or exemptions, those are all marketplace decisions that can be appealed. And you can go right into your My Account section. If you have created a username and password on healthcare.gov, you can visit your account and you can find your way through requesting an appeal online right there. We also give you the phone number you can call and say, I'm requesting to appeal something. Now, if your decision that you would like to dispute is more about the refusal or denial of services or coverage, that's more of a health plan dispute, and that's where you can request an appeal with your individual insurance plan. You can always raise concerns about plans with the insurance commissioner. They can help direct you to the right spot if you're not exactly sure which appeal option is right for you. Now, we give you a lot of sources because this has been a lot of information. First is our Consumer's Companion to Health Reform. This will walk you through a lot of what we've just talked about and give you a lot of those links for resources and things like financial assistance through tax subsidies or cost-sharing reduction, what that looks like. We also share the Marketplace application checklist, things you should have handy and ready when you're sitting down to apply for coverage, how to report a change to the Marketplace, and how to find local help. There is a lot to do in a very short amount of time. November 1st through to December 15th at healthcare.gov is your opportunity to buy coverage for 2019. If you have questions or a healthcare story you'd like to share with us, you can visit us at healthwatchwisconsin.org.